Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nirmodon, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about 10 things that I dislike. That could be about life, that could be about anything that's relevant or has any kind of composure, I guess, over how something is affected or placed into an action, I guess you could say. So, with that in mind, guys, this is my top 10 list. They're not like super exponential, they don't have like a complete reasoning behind a lot of them, but at the time of the making of the commentary, they're the things that I find to be the most disturbing, the most annoying, and maybe they aggravate me beyond comparison. So maybe you guys will agree with some of them. Maybe you'll have different opinions. Obviously, not everything that I will list is a complete, dialogue of things that I absolutely hate in life, or, when you play games or whatever you're doing. But there are 10 that I could find to be, pretty consistent. I would say that I'll probably hate them for quite a while. And overall, maybe you guys will agree with some of them. I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say. So before I forget, if during the commentary or after you guys want to participate and let me know 10 things that you hate, definitely feel free. I will be more than interested in reading what you guys have as a response. So with that in mind, guys, let's get started. One thing that I absolutely hate is when you have drivers. You have drivers, everyone wants to think that they're this exponential driver, they're super good, they're awesome at it, and apparently that's, obviously not a part of reality. Your perception over how you drive is, consistent with how well you think you drive. And that's not really where I'm coming from. I would definitely not say I'm a great driver. I like to cut corners occasionally. I like to have a little bit of fun, whatever. We've done some things that are on the illegal side, when we go on trips and stuff like that when I'm driving. So definitely I'm not an amazing driver, but I at least follow the majority of the rules that I find to be more interesting and direct traffic in a, I guess you'd say, consistent basis. So one of those would be is I hate when people don't use their turn signal. And I know it's, really small, people don't really care, blah, 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 stuff like that. But it's so aggravating because it's like, well, if you hit me, it better be your fault because you're not redirecting traffic, you're not informing anyone, you're being lazy, whatever. And that's just something I hate when I see people that don't turn signal. I'm like, God, I wish there was a cop somewhere nearby to give them a beautiful little ticket or something like that. Because I turn signal every single time. I don't care if I'm switching a lane with nobody within 100 miles of me. I'm going to use my turn signal. That's just what I do personally. I've been, taught to do that, so that's what I do. And it really aggravates me when you see people that don't turn signal, they think they're too cool for it, or they forget, or whatever. And it's like, if a cop was to give you a ticket, I'm sure you wouldn't forget about it. Granted, the police department would probably make a giant stash of revenue from just those tickets alone. I could imagine enough to basically build, humongous buildings in small cities and stuff like that to increase, whatever they want to waste money on. That's usually not very important in the long run. In the short run, it sounds like a good idea, but it's usually not. But with that in mind, another thing that I came to mind, or something that wasn't exactly related to driving, would be haters. And you have the YouTube haters, trolls, whatever you want to call them. They're gonna be there. That's what they do. You got to feed the trolls or whatever. My real thing is, yes, there is a few on YouTube I've come across. You see them on big videos, stuff like that. Nothing that you guys probably have never heard of or never even seen. You see the dislike ratio, stuff like that, hate comments, whatever. But when you go to real life, you have people that think they're really cocky, they're super cool. They want to hate on you. Basically, it'd be bullying, I guess you would say, in a generic standpoint. But, they're, I don't know. They're an interesting project that, I could not see evolving beyond, a set stone. You're not going to go from, a troll or a hater in one day to this exponential guy that, figures out how to fix cancer and whatever, something like that, makes a discovery that's almighty in the humanity of our mankind. So definitely, haters are always going to be there, and, I don't really enjoy them, but, on YouTube especially, they don't really drive me too mad. I don't get as mad as some of the people that go through emotional distress or anything like that. In real life, it's more like, well, that's alright, I only have to deal with you for another month, so have fun, do whatever you need to do, because, I'm going to graduate early, so a lot of these people that are douchebags now are going to be long gone within my life, but maybe in your guys' if you're younger, which I presume the average age for YouTube people is like, it's not very high, it's like 9 to 18, so I'm not saying that everyone's in that category, but a majority of people that watch gaming videos, are kind of in that category of age limit. There is some that are younger, and there's definitely people that are older than that. There's no problem with that, definitely. It's whatever you enjoy doing, but that's where the average kind of is for that category. So, when you come to that, I'll go back to the school subject or, go into a school related field or whatever. And I absolutely hate this. This drives me nuts. There's times where I kind of want to like shove them as hard as I can into the locker or push them down or whatever. Just get them the hell out of my way. It's like, those people that are walking extremely slow, they're walking slow on purpose. They're not just magically walking slow. They're trying to disrupt traffic or disrupt the feel of how people are navigating through the halls or school system, whatever. If you're in a university, then probably, the sidewalks or whatever. And with that in mind, it aggravates me beyond comparison. I hate it so much. It's so annoying. It's like, will you just like go to the right, the left, stay the hell out of the middle of the hallway? Please let me get by you, whatever. And you always have those people that are like, no, it's all good. I can walk as slow as I want. I'm going to take my beautiful time. I got 6 minutes to get to class. It's like, whatever. Just GTFO out of the way, dude. And, they usually don't. They're usually, the cocky, like, hey, I'm so cool, these chicks are on my dick and crap like that. Or at least they think they are. In reality, it's not exactly how it works. But, you get the point. There's not a whole lot that I need to express in that category. But, I don't know, it aggravates me personally. And then with that in mind, you have the quotes that a lot of the YouTubers say, which I find to be offensive. I think they're stepping over their boundaries or their position, I guess you would say. I would say that there needs to be a reduction in pay or something or a consequence for being cocky. Maybe, I don't know. I guess I guess that's perception. So maybe the actions wouldn't be as severe. But I definitely hate when I hear this because it almost sounds like they are using we as a community or we that, give them this power to their full advantage. And yes, I mean, I do realize that that's how they make their living, whatever. And no, I'm not calling out any specific user. I mean, they all do this. They're all guilty of it. We've all heard it through podcasts, videos, anything like that. So, they've all used it once or twice, some more than others. But one of the quotes that I find to be extremely annoying and I absolutely hate when I hear it, especially in any kind of circumstance, is that YouTube money crap. I don't find it to be very humorous. I think it's like, hey, look, congratulations, you're being a dick in front of the people that give you your power, because in real life, your power means nothing unless people watch your videos. That's exactly how it is. That's why I'm grateful that so many of you guys are so interested in seeing what I do on a daily basis, or you guys want to know what I'm doing, or talking to you guys in however kind of a sense. And when I hear that, it's like, okay, so I'm giving you this power, but you're abusing it, and you're trying to redirect it back at us, which in turn makes you cocky, thinks you're, cooler than everyone else. You have expectations that are not being met through some kind of individual, conversation or action. And it's just aggravating. I don't know. I mean, I know there's a few people that I talk to every now and then, that feel the same way. But I think a majority of the age limits, there's a huge difference between, me being 18 and somebody that's maybe of younger age. Maybe they don't find it to be as offensive. But when you see the 6 digits that they're getting per, I don't know, however their pay period is, it's a little offensive. It's like, you need to shut up because I could stop watching your videos and thousands like me could do it. Then your pay goes down and then you're going to feel like shit and you're going to say we're all trolls and haters then. So, I think they step their boundaries a little too much and, someday there'll be a consequence for them being of this action. But until then, they'll continue to say it, so. With that in mind, a couple of things that I just, quickly thought up that I really, really hate or dislike, I guess you would say, as I hate working. I would love to do like YouTube or graphics design, something like that as my job, but, I'm not here just for that. That's definitely not in my eyes. I don't really care about, making some big digit number for YouTube or being a graphics design or video game production person or whatever. That's the kind of stuff I would like to do. But I'm not going to jump in here and be like, yo, you guys need to do this so you guys can get me some more whatever. It's like, nah. I mean, if you guys do it, that's great. If not, I've talked about this thousands of times in different commentaries and I've, dissected it in different ways. But I mean, I don't need to harass you guys about anything. But in that same category, working like a job where you're not your own manager and you have to follow somebody else's ruling or their rules, because, there are rules that people don't agree with. Every job has it. But you still do them because that's, it's a rule, it's an obligation that you signed a contract, you follow these selected things, or there's punishment. Usually, sometimes, it depends on what kind of field you're in. But normally, I used to work for like Walmart and stuff like that, and I absolutely hated it. There were so many people They were so rude. The best people you could get in line at Walmart was like teenagers, kids, and like really old people. Like our parents, like your parents that are obviously your parents, they were like the worst people to have at Walmart. I'm not saying your parents, but I'm just saying like parents that would come through, they were always so rude. They didn't have the time. They thought that their life was so much more important than doing something the right way. And that's kind of why I quit that field. I didn't really like it. It's not really what I was looking for. But is that saying that all retail is bad? No, that's definitely not right. I mean, you look at like Target, Kmart, Hastings. I don't know if Hastings is worldwide, but it's a gaming computer crap store. Anyway, point is, you have stores that are like mom pop, but they're still higher corporation ones that aren't as busy as Walmart that are really, really good. And anyone that works at Walmart, will say the same thing. It's just chaotic beyond comparison. But I used to work other like fast food jobs and stuff like that were really, really popular, but they sucked because people were so aggravated, so rude, and they expected this expectation that was so high of a place that was so standard. So, I mean, working definitely, being a slave, I guess, to the higher man kind of sucks. I definitely would not like to go in that kind of field again, but, I am a teenager, so I don't really have a choice in that department. With that in mind, a thing that I personally hate is I hate rain and wind. Rain usually people don't like. There are people out there that love rain, but I hate it, okay? But wind gets me really pissed, okay? Wind, I don't know why, but it's probably because, like, I'm so vain, and for any of you guys that don't know what vain means, it's like you care about your appearance, stuff like that. And when I go outside, like, I have to wear a hat. If I'm not wearing a hat, I'm gonna be pissed, because if a wind blows my hair and it moves, like, if I even feel it move, I'm going back in and combing my hair again. A lot of you guys might be like, well, that's kind of weird. Well, I guess that's a part of life, right? But with that in mind, I hate that. That's why when I go outside, I'm always wearing a hat until I walk inside a building, I take my hat off. Anything else, I don't really care. You shave, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you're going to do that. Otherwise, you look, I don't know. I guess for me personally, I don't look great with a beard or anything. So, I can't really fit that description or anything like that. But being vain definitely has its pros and cons, but usually they're a lot bigger on the con side. Rain, getting wet, I don't know, I just don't like it. It's weird. I mean, I like taking showers and stuff like that, that's fine. But just that unexpected, touch to one thing, hitting your skin is just like, I don't like it. It's weird. I hate it. And then when that comes into mind, you have tests and quizzes. I've always hated them. I'm, anxiety and stuff like that. So I've always hated that kind of department. I've never in my life love taking a test or quiz, and that's how a majority, I think, of everyone is. I think, anxiety, you get nervous, you want to score high. If you're a slacker in school, then you probably don't care a lot, but with that in mind, you still care internally that you want to reach this expectation that is just extremely hard sometimes to reach, but, you have both sides, and then you have the middle guy that's like, I do alright, I'm not usually too anxious, but not too relaxed, but me personally, I hate getting low grades. Like, I remember at one point when I got a B, like, I was pissed. Like, I hated B's. I was an A student for the longest time. High school hit and that kind of dropped off. I kind of quit caring as much as I used to as a younger age. But, am I saying I made the right choice? No. I wish I still cared a lot. I still care, but, I'm just not as active or as supportive to myself as I used to be back in the day. I didn't care as much now, and I wish I would, but, eventually some days that will change, hopefully, because college, you don't want to screw up in that. That's a good chunk of money that will be lost and thrown in the trash can, but, homework on the weekends, you had stuff like that. Most school people have homework on the weekends. It sucks. You live through it, but it's aggravating when you have, like, projects due, like, Monday or something like that, and you're like, well, I gotta quit playing my games, I gotta, figure out time to manage time between work and school, and whatever. It's like time management, and it's just like, do I do my homework? Do I take a late grade? What do you do? And a lot of the best things to do would obviously be to do it, but internally you're just like, God, it's the weekend. Like, weekends really screw with your mind. They really change you into this different perspective, this different person, and you're like, man, I don't want to do it. I spent 5 days dealing with this crap already. Why should I have to do it now? That's not my obligation. My obligation on the weekend is to hang out with friends, do what I want to do, manage my time as a person, my individual unit. And it kind of sucks. I've never really liked homework on the weekends. I never really argued or, fought it. I was never one of somebody that was like, I'm not going to do it. But in that same respect, you become lazy when you hit high school. A lot of people will agree with that. But in your younger years, it's not really a big deal because your homework's not extremely difficult. Granted, you're still learning it along the way. But high school really changes your perspective on a lot of things that you really cared about, or maybe you didn't care about as much. So, with that in mind, my next one is very interesting. I don't know if I wouldn't say I have like a track record of this, that would sound bad, but, I'm about 50-50 in this category, so good enough for me, I guess. That rejected feeling, when you ask somebody, you really want something, you want to go for this individual kind of thing, you really want to have a relationship or a friend or whatever, and that rejected feeling is like heartbreaking, you're like, oh man, I just failed, I didn't, do my job, I didn't propose in this right way, I could have done something different, my appearance, and you get all these like feelings of emotional distress and you feel awful, and rejected is definitely not something that I ever took really lightly, I never really enjoyed it, and I don't think anyone enjoys getting rejected, but you get back up on the horse and you hopefully find somebody that's ready to ride off with you in the sunset. But my final, last one for the 10 things that I dislike the most would be not having money. And I don't really have this problem a lot. I mean, I have 2 bank accounts, but one's usually not as full as the other one, but the other one's for when I move out, so I have a large sum of money so I can live off of. Just in case something goes bad, I have a bad month, whatever. And it sucks. It really does. If you're in that position where you don't have money, like, you go through times you're like, man, I gotta get gas, I need food, I'm starving, like, my parents can't fend for me, I need clothes, whatever. And, you really kind of flip-flop. It sucks not having money, but, you gotta find a job, you gotta, work a lot, and working a lot sucked, because I used to work 40 hours a week, and I would never go back to that if I had a choice. But with that in mind, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you guys have anything, or you agreed with anything I said, and I'll see you guys in the next installment. This is Nerd Mode On, signing off. Peace.